Alright, so I'm starting this from 0. I actually started it yesterday, but that was just a continuation from the last one, the end of the last one. But this will be the true starting. So this is the Abbey Grange Affair. Now, it could be an affair as in something you just have to deal with that's troublesome, or it could be an affair literally in the word that someone's having a relationship with someone else and someone got caught and someone got killed. So it could be just an affair of issues, or an affair. Could be both actually. So we'll see. I'm going to speed through the beginning because I've already been through the beginning part through the last video. But I guess for content start of a part 1 of something, it's best to play it out. Just when it comes to solving certain things, putting certain things together, I'm going to skip those ones, the ones I went over yesterday, just to keep things moving, because I have no intentions of playing this beyond June. So hopefully I'm going to be able to finish this by the 28th or the 29th, because yeah, I believe I should be finished this by the 28th or the 29th, depending on how long this one is compared to the others. If this is shorter, then it'll probably be the 29th, but if it's shorter, it will probably be the 28th, but if it's longer, it'll probably be the 29th. So I have no intentions of playing this beyond June. I should finish this last one by the 29th. So I'll start from the beginning, and I'll skip over things I already saw yesterday, but I'll just play the story through. I have a feeling that this one is something I wish for. Like, this might be the first one where the actual killer is a woman.
Into your clothes and come. I'll wait for you in the sitting room.
If it's that obvious, then
I've just received a note from Inspector Lestrade.
Who
A letter
knows?
from the suburbs. He is in need of my presence. Whenever he has asked for my assistance, it has always turned out to be entirely justified. I fancy that every one of his cases has found its way into your collection.
Yes, they all seem worthy of...
However, I regret your fatal habit of looking at everything from the point of view of a story instead of a scientific exercise.
Oh, Holmes, you...
I beg your pardon, I digress. It would be much better to examine this letter than to try to convince you.
yeah, Holmes caught himself trying to insult Watson, and then he realized that what he's
on
doing.
the table, Holmes. You should take a look.
Okay, so I'm gonna skip past this because I already know this is from Lestrade. This is his seal. This is his department, and
The Brackenstall family coat of arms.
yes. So this is sent from, well, it is not stuff from Lestrade, but it's about Lestrade coming to investigate. So this is their coat of arms.
A wax seal with the monogram. I can tell.
And this is their address. And just like yesterday, this is just, "Dear Mr. Holmes, I should blah 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 blah. Interesting you finding, assisting with this investigation. Crime happened at my place. I'm just quick rushing through this. Yours faithfully, Mr. Lestrade." So it's strange. It's a letter from the Bracken family, but it's seal coding by Mr. Lestrade. So Lestrade basically saw a telegram from the vicinity of their home. Otherwise, it wouldn't be sealed with a Brackenshaw seal and a Brackenshaw shawl envelope if it wasn't from their place that he sent it from.
So, what is it, Holmes?
Promising, as always, it appears to be a case of murder.
So you believe that Sir Eustace is dead?
I should say so. Lestrade wouldn't have sent for me for less. His writing shows considerable agitation, and he is not an emotional man. These people belong to high society. The quality of the writing paper, the EB monogram, their coat of arms. The crime was committed before midnight.
Holmes, how can you possibly tell?
Well, it is all thanks to Lestrade. He wrote his letter at 3:30 in the morning. Imagine the chain of events before that. The local police had to be called in. Scotland Yard was notified. Lestrade himself had to make haste there, and finally compose the letter he sent to me. All of that makes for a fair night's work.
It makes sense. Lestrade also speaks of the woman he released.
That seems to indicate Grange immediately. I live in hope of an interesting morning.
Uh-oh, I'm already feeling some network lagging. Hopefully it doesn't persist for too long. If not, it doesn't really matter. I'll squeeze as much as I can in June. I'll go to this place right away.
Have troubled you after all.
And why is that?
Lady Brackenstall has come to her senses, and she has given so clear an account of the affair that there is not much left for us to do. You remember that Lewisham gang of burglars?
What, the three Randalls?
Exactly. The father and two sons. It's their work. They stole a silver service, which is of great value.
Sir Eustace Brackenstall is dead, then?
Yes. His head was knocked in with his own poker.
A violent act of aggression.
Yes, the poor lady. She has had a most dreadful experience. She was assaulted and tied to a chair. But I think that you would best see her and hear her account of the facts. She is in the morning room with her maid, Teresa Wright.
Where is the body of the deceased?
In the dining room. We haven't touched anything.
All right, I'm going to examine it.
Very good, Watson.
Okay, so several factors pop up here. At the beginning of the story, Holmes told Watson that Lestrade is not really an emotional man, but his letter that he sent from this place shows signs of emotion in it, saying that how Lestrade is basically a straightforward guy. He doesn't mix emotion in his work, but his behavior with regards to writing is somewhat strange. I mean, it's not like Lestrade haven't seen dead bodies before, so that's weird. Unless the woman is Lestrade's daughter. Huh. I wouldn't be surprised.
Ladies, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting...
So, of course, he couldn't be Lestrade's daughter, because Lestrade's last name is Lestrade, and hers is Brackenshaw, unless before she was married, her last name was Lestrade.
Inspector Lestrade in this investigation.
Mr. Holmes, I am the wife of Sir Eustace Brackenstall. We were married only a year ago.
I am sorry for your loss. Please accept my deepest condolences.
I suppose that it is no use my attempting to conceal that our marriage has not been a happy one. I fear that all would tell you that, even if I were to attempt to deny it.
Okay, so like I said before, we already went over this. She was married to this guy a year and a half. Criminals came in here, tied her up, killed him, hit her across the face. That's why she has a bruise on her face. And after we checked the bruise on her face from yesterday, it showed that the bruise was fresh. And now, this was an event that happened at midnight. Lestrade was called in. Lestrade sent a telegram around 3 a.m. as Holmes is describing. And the mornings of, it's still the black and blue stuff, or the black and red is still present there. So it's fresh. In other words, if her healing is this slow, then it makes sense that it would still be fresh. But if her healing is fast, then there will be a bit of green in there. And of course, I already said the whole thing of how healing works internally with regards to the body, so and so forth. Possible to develop due to white blood cells being shattered or new white blood cells trying to eat away at the disease, for which are busted, broken cells. And she doesn't show signs of that. Blah blah blah. She could have come from a specific place outside of London, which she's from Australia. She came here a year and a half. She actually met the guy that same month when she came here a year and a half ago. Not suspicious at all. Very suspicious, actually. I always thought, well, okay, you just came here a month and a half and already you're in a relationship with someone who wants to interested in getting married to you. Very strange. So she was in a relationship with him for 6 months, and then after the 6 months they got married. Very quick. Maybe it's a normal thing for someone young like her, but probably not normal. Well, actually, maybe it's a normal thing for a rich guy like him, but not for her, unless she's a naive. Something tells me she's not naive at all. And something tells me coming to a place like this, a month and a half, or a year and a half ago, all of a sudden married to some rich guy, isn't coincidental at all. And why would Lestrade be emotional? Why would he care? Unless Lestrade is a feminist, which will make sense. Maybe the girl, being young, reminds him of his daughter. But the game never said Lestrade had a daughter. What? And I already know about the old bruises stuff. Like if this is a fresh bruise from assault, the old bruise is something from something else on her hands. I didn't state this yesterday, but there are several ways to do punishment when you're married to people or you have children back in the old days. And it's an English thing. I know because I come from a place where it was colonized by Englishmen, and then their rules started to govern that area. And so their punishment also applied to that area as well. You have kids, you beat them across the hands with a ruler, or on the butt with a ruler or whip to punish them. With a wife, it's the same thing. You hit them on the hands. But if you're a violent man, you would assault them. Face, arms, however. So I'm not sure about the hand damage. Reminds me of being assaulted. Well, I won't say kids were assaulted. Well, in many punishment back then when you used to beat kids was a form of discipline, even though the level of the punishment would be considered assault. Because once your kids start crying because you're beating them, that's one thing. Once you start going beyond that to the fact that they start a bruise and you're a piece of shit, I received the blunt of that long time ago. But chip on shoulder isn't fully gone, but at least it doesn't ruin my life. I learned from it that there are weak men and there are strong men in this world. Not a happy marriage. Let's start with that.
You mentioned that your marriage was not a happy one. Was there anything specific that was troubling you?
He was not a nice man when he was drunk, and he suffered from dark moods, but nothing else.
The bruises on your hands are at least 1 week old. Your husband caused those bruises?
Oh, do you? Yes, he did. He was very angry at the time. Out of control. Again. Sir Eustace was a drunkard. To be tied to such a man for life is worse than death.
There's one other thing I didn't point out yesterday. Her appearance resembled that of a young woman not in her 30s, but in her early 20s. I would say 20, 21, maybe even 19. Due to her neck, there's not a lot of flop on the neck. In fact, there's hardly any. Flopping starts at age late 30s going into early 40s. Creases around the nose and the eyes starts heavily into the 30s. You don't see that much in the 20s, except sometimes in the late 20s. And most of these things you would see in the late 20s of women was due to the fact that they do a lot of work or a lot of physical exercise for which the body speed up with regards to deterioration. Her face, unless this is a lot of makeup, shows that she doesn't really exercise, which they didn't exercise like that back then. So she could be anywhere from a teenager to a 21-year-old.
Can you describe to me the events of yesterday evening?
Is it really necessary? I have already told Inspector Lestrade all that happened.
Yes, madam, it is.
I will tell you then. Sir Eustace retired about 10:30. I sat in this room until after 11, absorbed in a book. Before I went upstairs, I entered the dining room to fetch a candle and... oh God.
Please, go on.
As I approached the French window, I found myself face to face with an elderly, broad-shouldered man who had just stepped into the room. Close behind the first man, I saw two others. One of them struck me a savage blow with his fist and felled me unconscious to the ground.
And then?
When I came to myself, I found that they had secured me tightly to a dining room chair. It was at that instant my unfortunate husband entered the room.
He fought with the intruders?
Yes, I think he had heard them, for he was holding his stick. But they were three, and he eventually succumbed. One of them, the elder one, struck him a terrible blow with the poker. I fainted once more. When I opened my eyes, they had withdrawn. Then my brave Teresa came to my assistance.
Okay, so after they struck him with a terrible blow, he gave a shock to her and she fainted once more. I'm gonna remember that. I'm gonna remember that, you. I think you were the killer, but I'm gonna remember that. You fainted after he died. So you better make sure your story sticks. Also, her voice is very young. Typically people their voice start to gurgle as they get older. Hers sounds very young. The oldest I think her age might be is 25 at most. Earliest she's probably a 17, 18-year-old. I think back then you could marry someone at 16, 17, 18. So she could be anywhere from 17 to about 25.
Did these three villains steal anything?
Yes, I found that they had taken the silver from the sideboard, but you can see for yourself in the dining room.
Your ladyship?
Okay, dining room silver. Lestrade did say that they took some type of silver.
Oh, what a horrible thing to have happened.
She says it's her unfortunate husband. She doesn't really like him, but I guess that's a standard thing to say. A guy met his unfortunate end, whether I liked him or not. So let's talk to her. I already know what she's going to say from yesterday.
Teresa, I would like to hear your testimony.
Certainly, sir.
I'm going to go over her real quick because she doesn't really matter for right now. Alright.
As I sat by my bedroom window, I saw three men in the moonlight down by the lodge gate. But I thought nothing of it at the time. Oh, if I'd known.
And then?
I went to bed, and it was more than an hour after that I heard my mistress scream. And down I ran, to find her tied to the chair and him on the floor with his head smashed. That's all I know.
A poker was taken to this man and killed him. I struck in the head. Now, it didn't say I struck in the eye or anywhere else. It's like she says his head's bashed. I'll hold you to that. Hopefully you don't change your story and says the damn poker was struck in his eye or in his neck or something. Okay, and I remember I was supposed to go over here and check this wall.
These scratches are most definitely made by the picture frame. This. Lady Brackenstall, could you open this wall safe?
No, it is my husband's safe. I do not know the combination.
We have to open it. Your ladyship?
My mistress is very tired. Can't you allow her to her room?
The description of the Randall gang provided by Lady Brackenstall is identical to the one in the Times article.
Yes, that was the letter from yesterday for which Lestrade told me that this gang is a famous gang that, well, not really famous, was known to have been robbing people, and burglary is part of their whole thing. Family of three, big guy and two other people, and they rob from the rich. No, they're about them. Merry men.
Let us try to open this safe.
And I'm supposed to
This
break in
safe
here.
can be cracked. I only have to pay attention. The dial will vibrate when it is set to the correct number.
And I believe this is where I stopped. So I never really opened it. So now I'm continuing the game from yesterday. He did say it will vibrate based on turning. Wait. $17. Okay. Oh, it's not 17 and a half. Okay, so 17 and a half going right. I'm gonna go left. This is weird. Oh, okay, I see. I think I'm supposed to press confirm once I get to this. And then I do it again. Yesterday I skipped it just for context, but today I'm not going to skip it. Or maybe I should skip it because it seemed rather simple. I am moving left. Wait. Yeah, it is simple. You just turn. No, I don't need to do this. It's very simple. All right. Okay, and I read the physical condition of his body. So I'm gonna quickly read this over again. It's basically saying that this guy drank a lot of alcohol, so much alcohol that he had pancreatitis. Um, and of course, it bloodshot his eyes and his skin got tinged yellow, and he has liver problems, probably liver disease, and probably an ulcer as well. Um, he has leg cramps due to the fact of his drinking. Probably doesn't work out at all, and his nervous system is also compromised due to the excessive use of alcohol. It's called an alteration to nervous system due to the cause of his drinking. And also he has stomach problems. So this guy has liver problems, stomach problems, nervous system problems, physical leg problems, and the inability for him to stop going to the bathroom because he had pancreatitis, which is on the next page, I believe. Pancreatic malady, that's what it's called, but it's pancreatitis, fulminant pancreatitis, fatal, led to fatal and fulminant pancreatitis. Yeah, fatal, emphasis on the word fatal, and fulminant pancreatitis. Your condition may pose a risk to others. But yeah, definitely, because it puts him in a set of rage once he drinks alcohol to make him aggressive. But at the same time, I guess if he physically becomes angry, it cause something to happen to his body. His leg will probably cramp up, and I don't know. Like, it seems maybe the guy might even piss himself in a fighting match, simply because he's putting pressure on his body. But who knows? And of course, the coins were also went over, and he basically said they're disorganized, but the guy's a drinker, so he doesn't not going to put things in order anyway.
Antique coins, possibly of value, but they're scattered.